Would you love to learn how to open yourself up to channeling the messages from spirit, from source, from the divine, from the angels? Channeling is truly a beautiful gift to develop, to embody, to expand upon, because it can truly change your life for yourself and then also, of course, for other people if you so choose. But you already have the gift of channeling. It's already within you, and you probably already are channeling without even knowing it. But in this video today, I felt guided to share with you 6 tips on how you can really open yourself up more to the art of channeling and start channeling the messages from source, from the divine, from the angels, from your guides if you so choose. And here I just want you to notice, you don't need to already be a psychic in order to do this kind of work. Now, like I said, you already are most likely channeling, even if you're not aware of it. Because if you are on your spiritual awakening journey, you already have opened yourself up to more of your gifts. Now, you're probably not aware that you're already channeling, but you already are doing it. But now with these tips, they can really help you sharpen that gift, really develop it even more. And the more you work with, the tips that I'm about to share with you, it can really help you then to really be a more conscious channel where you're really tuning in and you're getting the clear guidance from spirit, from source, from the angels, from the higher realms. And that truly can change your life, because when you have that source that you can go to, right? If you have questions and you're just kind of tuning in, I have a question, and boom, you're getting the answer. I mean, how beautiful is that, right? You don't then ever have to sit there like, I wonder, and I can't come up with the answer. Why should I do this? Should I do that? What's the best thing for me to do? Why is this happening? You have all these questions that usually stay unanswered, right? Or maybe you have to then go somewhere else to get the answer. Well, if you learn how to channel, if you learn how to really tap in and receive guidance, then you always have a place to go to, or you have always a resource that you can tap into to receive guidance. And that's truly beautiful. So let me share with you those 6 tips that truly also have changed my life. And that's basically the tips I'm about to share with you is what I have done myself to really open myself up to channeling. The first one is read or listen to channeled work. What I mean with that is there's so many channels out there that are channeling certain meditations, they're channeling books and those type of things. And when you consume their content, you actually, because every channeled work is infused with light codes, right? It's infused with the light that comes from the divine. So as you are listening or reading channeled work, it uplifts you in your frequency. It opens you up more to the frequency of channeling as well. And for me, what I did was, in the beginning, I came across someone on YouTube, actually, Melanie Beckler. Her channel is called ask-angels.com, or I mean, that's her website. But if you're typing in ask-angels, her channel will come up. I consumed a lot of her channel work. She has a lot of meditations that I used to listen to in the beginning that really helped me open myself up to channeling. But there are so many other people out there. I recommend find the person that you really resonate with. I know there is someone that's called Paul Selig. I don't resonate with his work. So you want to find someone that you really resonate with. There's not every channel is the right channel for you. So here I really want to invite you, maybe do some research, whether it's on YouTube or even on Amazon, and just look for channeled work. Even my light language is a form of channeling as well. But when you open yourself up, when you're really consuming more the channeled work, that also helps you then. Then the second tip here is work with oracle cards. Oracle cards is a beautiful way to really strengthen your intuitive gifts, the channeling abilities, because as you are drawing the cards, yes, you can look at the little booklet and the description to get the guidance, but then you can also look at the card and let the card speak to you, to receive insights, to receive guidance. Now here, you want to open yourself up. Now in the beginning, you may just get words, or maybe one word, or just get some impression. But then the more you work with the cards and you really open yourself up, then you're receiving maybe a short sentence, and then maybe multiple sentences, and then maybe a whole paragraph of, or like a whole context of a story to really give you guidance around whatever is important for you to know. But working with oracle cards is a beautiful, beautiful way to, like I said, to develop your intuition, because intuition is kind of also needed in order to channel, because your intuition is then what will then allow you to then intuitively tune in to something and intuitively receive the guidance. But starting out with oracle cards is a beautiful way to start sharpening that gift of intuition, of receiving guidance, and then also channeling. Now here, you can then either talk about the message, you may then even start working with other people, because I have found when it comes to oracle cards, whenever I do oracle card readings for myself, I just get the ballpoint, like just the overall thing about the message. I look at the card, I get just bits and pieces here, but never really the context. Like if you have been following me, you probably have seen some of my new videos where I do weekly oracle card readings, right? The forecast. And I can give you an entire story around the card. But when I do it for myself, and even the same thing for clients, whenever I do readings for my clients, I can give them this whole full context of what they need to know. But whenever I do readings for myself, I just get really bits and pieces. And when I do the readings for myself, I don't get as much as I get for my clients, because I intuitively already know what I need to know about without getting all the context to it. But here you may then work with yourself first, you know, doing your own readings, but then you may even try to do readings for friends and family, to also see what is the difference, what's the difference in guidance that you're getting. Are you getting maybe more when you give a reading to someone else compared to yourself? So, but working with oracle cards is truly a beautiful way to start receiving that guidance. And when you work with oracle cards, it actually also bypasses your ego, right? Because when you're just tuning in and trying to get guidance, your ego always is trying to get in the way and try to, you know, give you all kind of nonsense, especially in the beginning. But when you have cards, you can look at the cards, and usually the cards, they give you a message as well, that you can then get some impressions from that or some insights from that. So you have something, and of course you have the booklet as well to receive the guidance there. But then I highly recommend really tuning into each one of the cards individually to see what is coming through to you, just to kind of familiarize yourself with the cards. I also have a video for you that I want to invite you to check out, is how to actually use the oracle cards for the guidance. I even share with you, you know, how to really go about doing the readings and those type of things. So the link is in the description below if that's what you would like to explore a little more of. But oracle cards is truly a beautiful way to get guidance and to start the channeling process as well. Then the third tip here is automatic writing. Now, this practice is a beautiful way to, for one, bypass your ego, and two, to really get clear guidance. Now, the way it works is you want to really tune in, like you have a pen and paper, you go somewhere where you're undisturbed, maybe have some music going, some soft music going in the background, or don't, it's perfectly fine. You can light a candle if you want or not, also perfectly fine. Whatever feels right to you, or you can just sit down and just bring your journal out and just kind of tune in. Whatever you feel called to do, perfectly fine. But basically, you want to tune in, you want to really get centered, maybe call up on your team of guides to really step forward to connect with you, maybe call up in your soul, your higher self, to come forward and to really assist you in this automatic writing practice. And then you think about a question that you have, and you can start out with, and ideally in the beginning, you don't want to ask big questions. They're very important questions, because you're often too attached to the outcome or to the answer. So using a big question or very important question is not a good way to get started with that. Here, what you can do is maybe just start out with, what is important for me to know today? What will help me move forward? How can I make a bigger impact? Or just simply, what is important for me to know today? And you just write that question on top of your page, and you just kind of gaze at the question. You really just gaze at it, not focusing on it, you're just gazing at it. You're just internally, you want to stay open. You're already ready. You have the pen there on the paper, ready to write, and you're just gazing at the question. And just allow the guidance to flow, and then you just start writing. You will then kind of get a kickstart to start writing. Or to kickstart the writing, let's say nothing is coming, you can just say, start writing. Well, I'm sitting here trying to do this automatic writing. I'm not really sure what to write about. The guidance is not coming, but I know it is coming. But so until then, I'm just going to write anything that comes to mind. And you really just write whatever comes to mind, even if it's nonsense. Even if it is absolutely weird, it doesn't matter. Because as you're writing, whatever thoughts come to mind, that opens you up, because that really helps you bypass your ego. Because when you're sitting there on the white piece of paper, and you're sitting there, and your ego is like, well, there's nothing coming, nothing is coming, you're not getting guidance, and then you're just totally blocking the flow. But when you just start writing anything that comes to mind to get the flow going, right? And then you think back at the question, okay, well, I had this question of what's important for me to know right now. And then you just wait, and then the guidance comes. This is a powerful way to really start channeling. Like, I love the written channeling. I mean, even for my Akashic record readings, I prefer the written channeling, the written readings, compared to just, having calls with clients, because I actually get a whole lot more information for my clients when I do it in writing than whenever I just, have a session with them, because there's just so much more that I can get in writing. And I also, for myself, I prefer the written channeling as well, because then I also get more. Now, of course, I also just tune in sometimes and just really, I have a question and I get the guidance. But I have noticed for myself, whenever I write, I actually get more context to it. I get more of the finer details that I don't necessarily get when I just tune in. So here, try automatic writing. This is a powerful way to really tap into the higher guidance, in your soul's guidance, and let it come through you. It's not, so don't think it's coming from you, like you have to know the answer. Think of it like that. It's coming through you. It's like I said, you're the channel. It's not coming from you. It is coming through you. When you think of it like that, and you just write, you really can bypass your ego, and you can really open yourself up to receiving beautiful guidance. And that also, the more you do that, it also then helps you to develop the channeling. I did the automatic writing for a very long time before I then was able to actually do the talk channeling. So start with what works for you. I know for myself, listening to channeled work, working with the oracle cards, then doing the automatic writing really helped me get everything started. Then the fourth tip here, and that was also the fourth step for me, was working with the Akashic records. The Akashic records is your soul's library of all lifetimes. And when you tap into your records, you can get guidance about, anything as it relates to yourself. Now, you can't get guidance for another person. That would be, you would need to learn how to give readings for another person. But when you tap into your own records, you can get guidance about anything as it relates to you, your soul, your past lives, your current life, your future life, challenges, anything. Right? Any question that you have as it relates to you, you can get guidance from within the records. And when you then combine that with either automatic writing, or maybe then even, just tuning in to get the guidance, can really open yourself up to channeling even better. Now, I have a free 6-day challenge I want to invite you to check out. Link is in the description below, where I walk you through a very simple process of how to open and work with your Akashic records to receive clear guidance. Now, if you want to join me in that, like I said, link is in the description below. But working with the Akashic records is also a form of channeling, because you are tapping into a higher source. You're tapping into your Akashic records, and then you're asking for guidance, and the guidance is coming through you. So this is also a powerful way to start the channeling as well, or to learn to channel, because you have to channel then the guidance from the Akashic records. So powerful process to really start the channeling process, the channeling work for yourself as well. Because then you also connect into the higher knowing, the higher guidance. So it's truly a beautiful way to, and of course also you get clear guidance, right? And it definitely can impact your life positively as well. Then the fifth tip is, and this is more of an advanced tip, I would say, is to speak or record yourself during meditation. Like you're speaking the guidance. So the way it works is you go in a meditative state, you deeply tune in and connect, and then you call forth your guides, you call forth your soul, your spirit guides, your team of guides, the angels, whoever you want to call forth, whoever you want to ask for guidance, and you just really deeply connect, tune in, and then you ask the question. It's similar, the process is similar to automatic writing. It's just, for me, I find this is more evolved, because when you speak, well, for one, I suggest to record yourself then, because then you don't have to focus on what have you been saying. You just focus on the channeling. Because I have found for myself, even when I channel for my clients, when I do the talk channel, I'm so in the moment, it's just flowing through me. I don't really pay attention to each and every word. So usually when my clients then ask me later on, well, what exactly did you say again? I have to remember what I said. So it's sometimes a little challenging remembering everything that you're saying, and especially if you are getting a lot of guidance. If you have multiple questions, it's hard to remember everything. So when you're starting to record yourself during meditation, and you're speaking it out loud, you can then listen to it later. You don't have to, while you're speaking, while you're channeling, you don't have to worry about, oh, okay, I got to remember all that stuff that I'm channeling right now. You can just really just open yourself up just to let the guidance come through you, and then later on, you listen to the guidance. Now, I find that this is a little bit more advanced, because your ego is then more, you don't have anything to do, so to speak, right? When you're doing the automatic writing, you're so focused on the paper, on the pen, on the actual practice of writing, that you're bypassing your ego. But when you're in meditation and you're trying to speak the channeled words, your ego can then kind of barge in and, get in the way. So this may be more so for after you've already done, the first 4 tips that I shared with you. You can then move into the speaking. Or unless if the speaking is really easy for you, then maybe you can start with that as well. Now, every person is different. I had friend who she loved the speaking but hated the writing part. Well, for me, it's the other way around. I love the writing part. I get more there than with the speaking. But it may be different for you. I'm just giving you tips on what you can try for yourself to see what works best for you to really develop your channeling abilities. But speaking and recording during meditation is also a great way for you to really develop your channeling abilities, as you then just, instead of sitting there in meditation, getting the guidance in your head, you're just speaking it out loud, recording it, so you can listen to it again later on. And that then definitely will help you then with the channeling as well, the verbal channeling. If you wanted to become more of a channel, kind of like Esther Hicks, that really, where an entity truly like, in that trance mode, challenge through you, that can then help you lead into that as well, if that's what you so choose. Then the 6th and final tip here is you want to work on opening up your third eye and your crown chakra. The reason for that is because your third eye is your psychic eye. It helps you with the psychic sight, where you see things. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean you're actually seeing stuff, but it's more like the internal sight, where you then maybe get insights in a visual form, where you see things like that, where you may see different energies, or you see images or anything like that. It's all about the visual sight, the psychic sight. And then the crown, it helps you really connect to the higher realms. It helps you really receive the guidance. When those 2 chakras are more open, more balanced and activated, that's what will also help you with receiving the guidance, with receiving the higher guidance, with channeling as well. So here I also have 2 videos. There are actually 2 activations to help you open up your third eye and crown chakra. Links are in the description below if that's what you would like to do. But these are the 6 tips that I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you will find something here that can help you really develop your channeling abilities. Like I said, these are the steps that I have taken to really help myself with really getting started with the channeling. Now, of course, I also had then taken a course on channeling. I had read books about channeling as well, like to really how to do that. And, feel free to look on Amazon as well to find, certain books that on channeling that you really feel drawn to. But here you go, you have the 6 tips on how to really develop your channeling abilities, how to really open yourself up to channeling and start channeling. I really hope you enjoyed this video and you got some value out of it. If you did, do me a favor, hit the like button, maybe leave me a comment below and let me know, are you already channeling? And if so, how did you get started with that? What helped you really develop your channeling abilities? I would love to know. Now also be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, because I'm also about to release an activation to help you activate your channeling abilities, to really help you with that. But also check out this video here on the 7 signs that you're already channeling, even if you're not aware of that. I think you're gonna love it. I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Until then, make it an amazingly abundant and successful day. Namaste.